All right, we're starting with these and let's see where we go. We start here. This is the archetypes of the wild unknown. Archetypes are so helpful with past life. Creator comes through strong. And a Mamundi. Oh, goodness. Huge amounts of knowledge, shades of Hierophant energy, shades of teaching energy. Also, the Creator super strong. This is coming up in the masculine form. This is, I think you were male in this previous lifetime that we're going into. Gnosis and teacher, knowing, and this is also mystical truths and knowledge coming forward. Okay. We're on. We're in. Now, the cultures and history and my lack of knowledge of history doesn't mean that your lack of capacity of being there or being in a time and place that is beyond where I'm seeing. I'll do the best I can to get in there. We're going into the Akashic field, but because the veil is thrown over all of us as we're born, we know the history we learned that we're taught in the books, and it's grossly underwhelming and inadequate. And for me particularly, I went to many high schools, so history was cobbled together. So if I feel a thing, I'll go in there. If my dates aren't exactly accurate, you can look. If your feeling is that it's further back than that or not, you trust yourselves, okay? But this is a lifetime where you are definitely in the masculine and in some form, teacher creator. This is a community creator. This isn't creator in the feminine empress, motherhood, no. Intellectual, philosopher, reverent, religious. Yeah, this is something where you are very, very mystical. Intellectual, philosopher, scientist. This is coming in even bigger. And although this shows the feminine, mystic, blah, 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 this is what's coming in. I don't know how far back in time we are. We could have been, well, I don't know how far back in time we are. Let's just see what else we've got. Like when you think of great philosophers, you can go clear back to Greece, but you can go even before then, before things were recorded. Or you can go a little further up the chain, and just because everybody's a knight in shining armor and that's how we remember blah, 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 doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of people that were very wise people teaching different things, be it herbal knowledge and healing of that sort, be it skills and arts and different ratios, like during the medieval times, Renaissance era, before the Dark Ages, that kind of thing. Page of Pentacles. Oh boy, okay. So what we're seeing is you have this gift, this student. This is like at a very young age, and I'm getting 12 to 16. You had knowledge and you could understand things. You understood bones. You understood structures of things. You understood form. I keep getting philosopher, doctor, like Hippocratic Oath, those kinds of influences coming through. And you kept going forward with your knowledge of bones. When somebody was injured, you'd know how to heal. You'd know how to deal with things. You would know how to treat and heal and serve as doctor, not just as... It feels like you might have had shades of warrior, but your times of war were a little bit limited. I'm not sure why that's there, but it is. Maybe it's to do with the bones that are coming through. Like, you navigated well, but you didn't end up among the bones. You ended up there. Ace of Pentacles coming through with the page. Yeah, you knew. I think you had enough money also in your family situation that were you to go into battle or whatever, you would have had protection. Now, this isn't just like armor. This is protection in the stages of the battle that you went in. Because of your knowledge base, you were also protected. They didn't want you to end up dead. If you think of a medic on a battlefield, you don't want the medic dying. No. So you'd be kind of further back. The way you thought, the philosophy, the education, the knowledge, that was part of it. You helped create unity and helped unite the group. Like you would unite the battlefield or the men on the battlefield. It's not like you're going to do the Braveheart, let's go in, charge forward. But there's this current that you would carry about, this is reason. If there's righteous cause for battle, then great, whatever. But your medical knowledge would have helped you bigger. Yeah. And you would teach others. Again, here's this giving the gifts of the knowledge going on. This is giving the gift of the knowledge to others. Even though some of it comes at sacrifice. It's like you would have known how to handle some things, taught some other people how to handle some things, and probably saved a bunch of people is what I'm getting. Why are we going? We're going. Can we see a better reflection of you here? Yeah, early on, sharp mind. Early on, gifts on the knowledge, gifts on the noggin there, for sure. Oh! Here's where you see the disloyal thief coming through. This is somebody you saw. This was either brother or father. I'm not sure which. Let's look what these cards are showing us. This feels like big brother, the oldest brother, that's usually the parent pleaser, the oldest child. He's pretty much like saying, fuck this, betrayal, left, took some things that were valuable and left, but didn't fulfill his requirement. This tells me that you are not the oldest child in this particular family unit that we're seeing. We're seeing the parents are there, but this is big brother coming through that took off. And because of his leaving you in the lurch, you had to assume role that usually is firstborn role. It left your family in the lurch. You went into service and into training and got studies. And you got studies from people that had education. Here it shows a man in service with the monks and putting the stained glass window in for cooperation. But you literally went in and got some studies because of what happened there. Yeah, there was a deception that he pulled off a fast one. I don't know exactly why. But he pulled off a fast one. You step into the role of the oldest. You start defending. You're the one with the robe, with the honor, even with the birthright and title given to you. Not that there is a huge title, but the birthright is given to you because the eldest has gone. The eldest went for the... You know how the lover's path comes up and I say sometimes they choose life purpose, sometimes they choose the person in love. This is what happened. He chose. This is him choosing the woman and leaving. Think about like, shit, I wish I could get names a little more clearly. The English king that abdicated for Wallace whatever, Simpson, in recent times. It's that kind of a thing, except for it's not that grand of a scale of royalty. But he left his position and birthright as the oldest for love of a woman. So that slams you in there. And it feels like he took a little bit more than he should have taken from the family. It really threw them for a loop. Meanwhile, now you get foisted into the role of lead. You learn. You study. You get your wisdom. You figure out the health things. Did it break your mother's heart? No. I think your mother saw the need for this. I think it broke your father's heart. And I think it caused him illness. Partnership and trust was broken on there. I think your dad was truly expecting him to live up to things a little bit better than what he did. Trust was broken. Partnership broken. Partnership and trust went different directions. The truth of a situation. For you, it's water under the bridge. For you, it's your brother. This betrayal wouldn't have hit you as hard as it hit your father, but it's water under the bridge. I think you meet up with him later again, but I don't know if we'll go there in this reading. But it feels like water under the bridge, and your perception of it is different. You're like, okay, you stepped up. It helped you become the man you became. There's no problem in that. It adds to your knowledge, adds to what you do, is part of your life path, and it's like, okay, no big deal. It leads you to knowledge. It leads you to this way where you can teach others or share some of the mysteries you had here for the benefit of others. It did end up saving lives. And it's like you have no beef with it. Technical term, no beef. We have the Desert Prince, the Ice Queen, and the Resting Tree. This is telling your brother's story. I don't know why this is so significant to you. This could be a family member, and if this was your brother in this life, it could be a father, it could be somebody else that's related, or even a close friend that's soul family. But it's the Ice Queen and the Desert Prince. The Ice Queen about ideas, about non-action and entitlement. This is this all over the place. Kind of a deceptive woman causes your brother to go his own path that's different than this. And then there's this stillness and this waiting that happens. And your brother's got the survival, false promises, all of this. It's like he got jerked around in this situation too. It just, not that it shouldn't have happened, because obviously it did, but it's your brother's karmic lessons about deception, truth, trust, faithfulness, all of this, that he bailed. So I don't think your dad was going to give him a second chance at all. You might have. For you, water under the bridge. Anything else for you? Yeah. You saw him. There's something about this battle. You saw him, and this is something that's really weird. You saw him, and then there's death all around. I don't know if he survived or if he died there. He dies. Fate takes him out. There's Sisters of the Seasons, but this is fate. This is the Wheel of Fortune. A big radical change. Fate takes him out. You tell him, basically, it's okay, brother. We're good. And don't worry. I think he shifts to the other side and starts acting more in what we might refer to as guardian angel for you from there. That's what that feels like. That's what that indicates. That's what's coming through. Holy moly. Now we know why it's significant. The dream walker dreams the collective good and illusions. Now this is where you would take time apart to really study, really, even though you were so service oriented, you needed time to withdraw, to be to yourself, to observe things, observe nature, all of these things to yourself. You would get inspiration through dreams. You would go out on just, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a walkabout or like a sacred walk and travel where it's a coming of age. This was just like a periodic thing. Like if people knew you were out walking, they would kind of know where you were. You would be in a safe space, but you would walk. And people would leave you the fuck alone so you could have the time to walk. And you would get inspiration. You would get whispers coming through. You would know. Dreamwalker, good illusions. Let's see what else is going on for you. Yeah. You were really, you were a quiet hero. Because you affected battles and your influence was calming, restorative, you could rally people. Because of this influence you had, because of the knowledge you had and the way you healed, it affected many, many, many. Okay, this is the Game of Thrones. This is the brother that wasn't supposed to be the strong leader or wasn't supposed to be wise, was underestimated. It wasn't the firstborn. It was the brother that was like the problem in the story of Game of Thrones. You weren't the problem, but you weren't the firstborn. You weren't supposed to be the one that could do all of this diplomatic type stuff. This diplomacy was supposed to be his assignment, but it became yours. You were penned into this situation, stuck in this situation, and you worked with it anyway. You were stuck in the battlefield, stuck in these zones where you likely shouldn't have been by the standard of your birth. However, that's where you were. Again, you walk with death a lot, and you offer much in the way of life elixir. You know what to offer. I think you perhaps offered a few people relief from pain and helping them over with an elixir. I think also you had the healing fluids. You understood emotions really, really well. You saw the heartbreak of your father, but your mother stood true. Your mother was like, she understood this, and she was enough to help you emotionally catch up. Your father, his own path, his own disappointment shouldn't have been a problem, but it was a disappointment. It was a like, not like you ever tried to live up to his expectations or anything. You were just different. He knew it. You knew it. There was space between you and he in that relationship. But your mother taught you emotionally. Your mother taught you some of the ways that women would have known. The healing things. Of course, women would have known healing things. If you think of childbirth alone and how painful that is, women would be quick to figure out how to, get through that in a way that was as limited pain as possible from the dawn of time till whenever this was. Yeah, the heartbreak, the return home. You return home, and it's not like you've got like all the battle victories that some of the people have, but you've hard charged, you've pushed hard, you've brought inspiration, you know what's going on, you know what's happened, you know what was coming at you. This is just a reflection of all the people that would be coming to you like in the time where they needed like medic in the tent or healing in the tent. And you saw plenty of heartache, you saw plenty of betrayal. This betrayal of your brother to your family is what really shaped your life in a huge, huge way. Is there anything else? This cup. This is something you'll still offer, and this might as well be the open heart and the grail that you're offering now. You have a good sense of healing whether you know it or not. And sometimes your heart is a little too wide open. Sometimes you might be drawn into drama. It doesn't need to be so. Try and step back and be a little more distanced from it. Yeah, your last stand in the Queen here. You know your worth. You know your value. This one's a 2 of Coins, and it's hilarious to me. It says Lannister always pays his debts. If you know Game of Thrones, Lannister always pays his debts. Your karmic debt on this particular thing and how you had to step up because of what your brother's choice is, that's finished. That's done. This debt is paid. This was the last stand in this particular type of lesson. And the betrayal here that your family felt, it's not like you're going to have to set yourself up for relationships of betrayal, because you'll be able to see it from, 5 miles, 10 miles from a long distance. You'll smell in the air if something's off, okay? You'll know when something's a little sketch. Trust your inner guidance system on this. You have a huge, huge sense of inner guidance that knows what you're doing, where you're supposed to be going, how you're supposed to be doing. One more thing from the... This is the Oracle of Avalon, and then I want the hidden bit. No, it's here. Alchemy, Justice, and Balance, the Merlin. Yeah, this is the acquisition. This is what you have. You have this inner magic that you can alchemize things really, really quickly. Look at the back of that deck. Of course, that's why I would want that. Of course. Of course. Of course, that's why. That's what I've got. That's complete. That's what's gone on. Wow, beautiful. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Holy smokes. That was amazing. Yeah. Very interesting.